What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's feeling good. Hope everybody's doing well. Guys, if you want to send in a story, send it to truestorynation@gmail.com. I throw it on the screen. That's truestorynation@gmail.com. Uh, so someone sent an email wanting me to put this online story. Says, this is an open marriage story. Hey, True, can you do this on your channel? I bounce back and forth on YouTube and online forums, and I think you should read this one. I'll send my story in soon. Thanks. Absolutely. I've done this over the years all the time, guys. If you send stories, I'll do it. You know, on the other channel, I do mostly online stories. And over here, I do subscriber email. But if you send me a story that's a subscriber email, or that's a online story, I'll do that as well. I'll put that on as well. It looks like there's been two new ones that's like that. But yeah, if you want to send in your subscriber emails, also send them to that email. We have more of those, and shockingly, and I wanted to do this because shockingly, I'm so surprised that the number of women that are sending in their stories. Like I'm very, very surprised about that. And they're being very honest, guys. They're being very honest. So, guys, like I said, if you want to send in a story, send it to truestorynation@gmail.com. Yeah, let's get into this one.
My 31 female partner, 35 male, have been together for 2 years. Recently, we started seeing a therapist who on our second or third session told us we were codependent, based on the statement that I had supported my partner financially until he found his new job recently, and that we needed to go to Codependence Anonymous, and this was only work we could do alone. It was weird and scary. Looking back, I realized that therapist was not very good. I had been struggling with wayward feelings towards AP, a longtime friend, for a month or so. When my BF and I first got together, he said he knew I had been in open relationships in the past, and it was cool if I did. 2 years later, I felt it could give me an outlet while my partner and I worked through things and take the pressure off of my partner. One of our issues was that he wasn't very motivated to plan dates or be romantic. I asked him, and he said he was okay with it and said he wanted, don't ask, don't tell, and that he would probably not participate, but appreciated me coming forward and being honest. With my partner's permission, I pursued a relationship with AP. I let AP know I opened up my relationship and was looking to date non-monogamous. I was not used to a don't ask, don't tell style, and after returning from my first overnight with AP, we did not have sex but fooled around with hands and mouths. I started to tell him that I was seeing AP, but he put up his hand to stop me. Later that evening, while I was out with AP, my partner went through all the texts between me and AP on my laptop. They weren't sexual, but very lovey-dovey. I went home and we shared some hurt words. I tried to talk about it with him and was hurt he went through my laptop behind my back. He told me he was not comfortable with open, but I wanted to continue dating. We agreed it was best if we did not live together and decided to separate but still date living separately. It took a month for my partner to find a new place, and in that time, we did not act separated. In fact, we grew closer. We started having sex again, going on dates. My partner started putting in a lot of effort, it felt. I had still been spending time with AP, but less with the new energy with my partner. In the final days leading up to his move, we had a pre-planned trip with my family. A couple days before the trip, I mentioned I had made plans with AP, and he flipped. He asked me, obviously hurt, if I had been in contact with APE, and I panicked and lied and said no, and said I wouldn't talk with him, and canceled our plans for that day. I texted my therapist, who told me to keep seeing Appy and just not bring it up to my partner because we had agreed to separate already, and I wish I wouldn't have listened. I met up with AP after my conversation with my partner and wrote about it in my journal. Our trip went so well, or so I thought, We talked about not separating and being monogamous again. During our trip, my partner saw a text from AP wishing me happy birthday and saying, "I love you." My partner then read my journal without telling me, then baited me asking if I had seen AP recently. I said no, and he confronted me. I lied some more. I don't know why. I panicked. He could tell I was lying. When we got home, he went through the rest of my journal. He found a photo booth picture of us kissing. He completely flipped out and moved all his stuff in an instant and said and texted a lot of angry, hateful things to me. My journal contained salacious thoughts towards AP, doubts about my relationship DW/my partner, and journal entries of a couple dates' time stamped after our initial confrontation about AP. My partner brought all this up in text in an intentionally hurtful way. I ended things with AP that day, 3 days ago now. This was also on my partner's pre-planned move-out day. He took most of his things, but left a few items of clothing, a few toiletries, and kept his keys. Him keeping his keys was a part of our initial separation plan and an agreed upon symbol of our continuation in whatever capacity we were trying for. So, I am hopeful he is still considering reconciling. But he has never been this angry with me before or stopped talking to me before. He says after reading my journal that he feels like I lied about everything and manipulated him. Since he left, I found some strategically placed mementos such as old aquarium tickets in the bed and an old love note where his desk used to be. I'm just here for some support, still dealing with waves of anxiety and sadness. I want to keep talking through the whole scenario as if talking about it from a new angle would solve something. Update 9:20 seconds. I have read the comments and have learned that I was having an emotional affair. I have a lot more to learn about myself and attended my first SLAA meeting last night. Tonight, I'm attending an ACA meeting as recommended by our previous couples therapist. Let's see comments. So, you asked for an open relationship because you wanted to legitimize your emotional affair. Your partner unknowingly let this happen, then got suspicious, so he invaded your privacy and realized this didn't just start. So, he decides to close the relationship, then you separate under the guise that you'd continue to date and see one another to work on your marriage. All the while, you're secretly seeing this other guy. The one you broke your marriage for, the one that led to this mess. You eventually slip up. Your husband's confused and angry, and you're here making excuses and saying the open relationship led to this mess. It didn't. Your husband seemed perfectly fine opening things up. He asked for a simple boundary, and you ignored it. If it wasn't for that, the multitude of lies, and the fact that you had already been in an emotional affair, I doubt you'd be in this mess. This goes without saying, but fire your therapist. So, that's not going to help you here. If you want R, he is never going to be okay with an open relationship. He honestly probably did it because he thought that was the only option at the time, and then when it happened, he truly could not handle it. It does not help that it started with someone you already had feelings for and would have already been an AP to begin with. Just a horrible situation. My wife pushed these same subject multiple times, and it was not a boundary I would go past. We did some activities together, but an open relationship, poly, was not an option. I came close to caving a few times, but it would have broken me the same as the eventual PA did. So either way, I was screwed. Just ended up being a new coworker 2 years down the road. You need read resources that cover this area. Also, do you really want R because it's going to be tough? Sounds like he gave up a bit of himself to hopefully make you happy, and it now has destroyed him. I know how he feels. A bit of your soul just feels like it's gone. Let's see another story. Ida for breaking up with my girlfriend because she wanted an open relationship, knowing my position on it? Hello, everyone. Here in this decreasable account, I have the following problem. Ida for breaking up with my girlfriend because she wanted an open relationship, knowing my position on it. I've, 19M, been with my girlfriend, 20F, for about 3 years now. Things have always been good between us. We had a solid relationship, sweet moments, and all the usual stuff that comes with being in a serious, committed relationship. From the beginning, we were clear that our relationship would be exclusive. I'm strictly monogamous. I don't have anything against open relationships or polyamory, but it's just not something I could handle in a serious relationship where my feelings are involved. Lately, though, things started to get weird. She began making comments about other guys, saying how she found some random dude sexy or how attractive someone else was. At first, I just brushed it off and didn't make a big deal out of it, but these comments became more frequent, and honestly, it started to feel a bit overwhelming. Then came the real shocker. She told me she was starting to get interested in other people. She said she still loved me, but she wanted to explore things both personally and sexually, so she then asked, "What if we opened the relationship?" I was stunned for a moment and nervously laughed, which she noticed. I half joked, half seriously replied, "Then I'm not going to be a part of it. Haha." She got the hint, but still kept pushing the idea. I got frustrated and asked her why she wanted this. She said she was curious and wanted to explore her sexuality without damaging the emotional bond we had. I was taken aback, but responded, "I support your decision to explore, but if you want that, then forget about me. You know very well that exclusivity is crucial to me in a serious relationship." This led to a heated argument. She accused me of being closed minded and called me a coward for not being willing to try something new. Those words hurt, and later that night in my home, I lay in bed wondering if there was a way to talk this through or find some middle ground. We did eventually meet up again to discuss things more calmly, but no matter what, I just couldn't accept the idea of opening the relationship. Even if I also had the freedom to see other people, it was a solid no for me. I told her, "I'm sorry, but we couldn't come to an agreement. You know my stance on this kind of relationship. I'm glad you want to explore this, but unfortunately, I won't be the person to do that with. Let's just end things now, save ourselves the drama, and move on. You'll have the freedom to do what you want, and I won't have to deal with the anxiety of knowing you're with someone else." She didn't take it well, called me selfish again, and repeated that I was insecure. At that point, I just stayed silent and let her say what she needed to say. We both sat there for a while, both of us with tears in our eyes. We eventually said our goodbyes. She still told me everything she previously thought about me, and after I got home, I saw that she had blocked me on everything. I just let out a sigh and laid down on my bed. Right now, I'm focusing on myself and moving forward, trying to maintain zero contact with her. So, AITA for breaking up with my girlfriend because she wanted an open relationship, even though she knew my stance on it. Edit. Thanks. You all for your comments. I really can't reply to all of them, but I read all of them. You all really give me good advice and also some reasons that I will reflect on. Anyway, TX us if something happens these days and I see it conveniently. I'd make an update. For the record, forgive me if this have some errors, as this post will be raw and English isn't my first language. Now, I will give you more context. It's been 5 days since we broke up. During these days, I have been reflecting, mostly due to some comments on the previous post mentioning that maybe she was always like this, that we were just incompatible, that we are young, and that she has the right to explore her sexuality or whatever. I admit I shouldn't have done it, but I kept thinking and racking my brain more and more. Was she really like this? I didn't pay attention to this when we made the relationship official, because this felt so strange to me when we decided to make things serious because I asked for exclusivity and she agreed, even emphasized it herself, which left me more and more confused. Anyway, yesterday I ran into her. I know that maybe was an error. I tried to ignore her, but I couldn't, since now she wanted to talk to me and I was about to reject her. But my thoughts got the better of me, and I agreed, mainly to ask her about my doubts. We went to her house, and although she tried to be nice, I just asked her to get to the point. We sat down at the table and talked. She tried to ask me how I was doing, but I just dodged the question, and then I confronted her again, asking why she was now bringing up polyamory and all that after so much time being with me, after even she agreed to exclusivity and emphasized it. When I said this, I raised my voice, basically shouting at her. Then I got my answer, and although it was predictable, it still shocked me. Long story short, yes, she has indeed been emotionally cheating on me and was tempted to do it physically. I just stood there, stunned, took a deep breath, and even though I was really angry, I asked her since when and with whom. According to her, she spent the last 2 months with a guy she met at her college, which coincides suspiciously with when she started acting weird. I raised my voice again, asking what she thought by not telling me. Did she think I was an idiot, even trying to manipulate me to open the relationship? She said that she didn't want to lose me, that she loved me. And as for opening the relationship, it was advice from her friends. I must clarify that not all of them are women. They told her that she had the right to explore while still being with me, that they even do it, and they still with their partners. And some of their partners have no idea about it. What a crappy people in this life. Honestly, I had a freaking urge to scream at her as loud as I could, but I had to keep my composure. I asked her what she did with this guy, if they were still in touch. She just told me that the same day we broke up, she slept with him, but later she regretted it. And in these last few days, she realized her mistake and wanted to be honest with me now, with the possibility to give her another opportunity. I couldn't deal with her anymore, and I told her she had almost 3 freaking months to be honest with me, and instead tried to manipulate me into falling into her trap so she could walk away without any guilt. I told her that if she wants to cry, go ahead, 'cause I won't give her another chance. And I don't care anymore because I lost the little respect I had for her. With a knot in my throat from the hurt, I told her clearly that I never want to see her in my freaking life again, and that if she sees me in a store, she should avoid me and go somewhere else because I don't want to see or hear her. She broke down crying again, begging me to forgive her. Grabbing my shirt to stop me from leaving, I pushed her away, opened the door, and slammed it shut once I got home. And it would be a lie to say I didn't shed tears. We're young. She wanted to explore her sexuality, and she's right to do so. She was right to tell me. She is not the asshole either. Pure bullcrap. Now I'm still incredibly hurt. I feel worse than when I started, and I feel like an idiot for even crying, knowing this could have been a possibility. I will see if I can get back on my feet and move on. Even though I'm still hurt, that's the only thing I can do. Man, I really thought I had a decent girlfriend.